smoke is quieting down. Seems like we've got to a lot of the smoke. Dub, you got smoke?
All right. We need to talk about the rising tension between Ice and Ish on the Joe Budden podcast. And trust me, I've got the files. I want to say this beef started when Ish publicly called Ice out for not being performative on the pod. Now, in a video I did about a week ago, Ish flat out said to Joe Budden, if I pulled an Ice move. And what does Ish mean by that? Well, it seems like he believes Ice holds back a lot of valuable insight or opinions during the show. Ever since that moment, Ice has been a lot snappier with Ish, quick to call him out, where before it seemed like he just let things slide. There used to be this invisible Newark alliance between them, or maybe just the fact that they came onto the podcast at the same time and knew each other beforehand. But something has recently changed. You can tell the dynamic has shifted. Look at the files.
They tried to tear my girl up on the internet.
They did.
They tore my girl up.
It worked.
Thoughts, Ish? On what? On, I don't know nothing about their relationship at all, so I don't know. She just told you.
It's not. It wasn't a relationship.
It wasn't a relationship.
It was a
he
PR
paid
stunt.
for the PR, not the pussy. She said, yo, for the record, I never slept with that man. He paid for the PR, not the pussy. Cool. Fuck, I'm gonna say. I'm just asking, fair.
Now, in this first clip, you'll notice Ish didn't even care to give a proper response when they were discussing Ruby Rose and Drewski. But the real highlight, Ice calls Ish out for not being performative. And here's the kicker. That's something Ice normally doesn't do. He usually lets Ish slide on these things, but since Ish called him out earlier, it seems like Ice is taking the gloves off. It's fair game now. Look at the files.
You might find me more of a challenge than, no disrespect to Ice or Imani or Corey or...
This nigga really don't fuck with her.
Joe, Ice is not gonna argue with Joe. Ice is gonna be like, yo, fam, I'm not arguing with nobody, so I'm not gonna do that. Whereas with me, I'm gonna argue, I'm gonna step up to the plate. We're gonna have a jousting session. Ice is not gonna do that, so that's what I mean. Am I wrong? Go ahead.
I'm jousting, absolutely.
You're sitting right here. I'm asking you a question before it
swords,
goes somewhere else. Am I wrong? You not gonna argue with
No,
Joe.
I don't argue, period.
At all.
It ain't got nothing to do with Joe. I don't get it.
That's what I'm
See, the thing with them two,
bro,
Yes.
that's what I'm
here it is.
saying.
The thing with them two, they got the need to be right. Both of them. Nobody, see, I noticed that when they argue, it's a matter of not only, I need you to acknowledge that I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
So they keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody wants to give up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this second clip, Melissa Ford kind of instigates a little bit with her laughing, and she kind of like steered this whole conversation low key. I had to clip it up so y'all didn't get to see the full context, right? But Ish, made a bold statement acknowledging that Ice never argues with Joe Budden. And you could almost feel the energy shift. Ice got visibly tense, even mad, like Ish was trying to clown him. Does Ish think Ice is afraid of Joe? Does Ish believe Ice sees Joe as superior? Or maybe that Ice doesn't feel like he needs to push back? What's really going on there? Right? I don't know. Ish even took it further, saying that Joe looks at him as more of a challenge than Ice. Right? This only made things worse, but Ice quickly shut it down by saying it has nothing to do with Joe. Ice explained that he just doesn't care to argue. It's not about proving he's right. But do you believe that? Does Ice genuinely not care? Or is he just avoiding confrontation with Joe for a deeper reason? Look at the files.
That went over my head.
Wait, well, hold on. So why you didn't invite Ice to bring his daughter? And then he got new kids. He got new kids in the house now too.
You want nice gifts. It's real simple. Ask me that same question you asked him.
No, you invited me to your birthday party.
Did you come?
I did not.
Mean, bro.
How
You are a socio.
Shit ton of baby
There was
oil.
a lot of baby oil. Johnson & Johnson started trending as a result.
Oh shit.
What's
Ish, do you have anything to say?
Not a thing.
Why not? You're just
Everybody said it. My
Step to his
cat.
business, man.
Yeah, my cats did a great job in describing what took place.
You know, the audience really, really likes to hear your opinion on things.
That's true. It is
Sure.
an important part of the show.
Yeah, it's significant.
I'm gonna remind you of that. I'm gonna remind you of that.
Okay.
But the audience does love you.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you, audience.
Okay. And
Woo! We told you I got the files, man. My stuff is real. My stuff is raw. My stuff is authentic. Can't spell the files without putting that I in it. Dub is here. Listen. Things get even spicier when Imani jumps into the conversation, questioning Ish about why he didn't invite Ice to his daughter's birthday party. To make matters worse, both of their daughters go to the same school. That's crazy, right? How they daughters go to the same school and they ain't like twinning and friending and doing all of that ill stuff. Feel me? Ice even said that if he had been invited, he would have brought some nice gifts. But here's where it gets messy. Ice once invited Ish to his party. And guess what? Ish didn't even show up. Now that's a little foul, don't you think? Ice has never publicly dragged Ish on that podcast. And most of the time, Ice is riding for him during debates. So is there something deeper at play here? Could it be that Ish has some underlying resentment toward Ice? Let's not forget, Ice has gotten a lot closer to Joe Budden over the years. In fact, Ice has more of a bulletproof position on the podcast than Ish does. And Ish has pointed that out more than once, both directly and indirectly. Could there be some jealousy there? Ish has known Joe longer. He brings a lot to the podcast, yet Ice seems to have locked in a better deal. Does Ish feel like he's been passed over or undervalued in some way? You can even see Ish's frustration bubble to the surface when he repeatedly points out that Ice has more freedom to do what he wants on the podcast. At one point, Joe had to step in and remind Ish that everyone's role on the show is different. But did that really sit well with Ish? I don't think so. Judging from his behavior in recent episodes, it seems like he's getting increasingly feisty with his other co-hosts. Could it be that Ish feels unappreciated? And here's another wild moment. Melissa Ford asked Ish point blank if he had something to say, and he responded by saying, "My co-host did a good job." That could have easily been mistaken for Joe Budden. It's almost like he's trying to mimic Joe's energy, which is sus and a key indicator of supreme hating. Like, how are you responding to Melissa? "My co-host did a good job." You not Joe. Those ain't like you talking like you the boss. Like he may be getting a little out of hand here, y'all. You know, I told you I got the files. Now, I brought this up in my last video, and some people thought I was reaching, but I've got the files to back it up. Come on, it's up. And there's a whole thing about Ish being sarcastic. You feel me? When Joe told him the audience loves him. Like, bro, are you good? Does Ish really appreciate being on the pod? Or is he just going through the motions at this point? You gotta wonder, is Ish happy with his role? Or is he feeling like the odd man out? The old, bitter uncle of the group. Low key, he's giving off Sonny's uncle from Paid in Full vibes. You feel me? So what do y'all think? Is Ish truly content with how things are playing out on the podcast, or is he harboring some deeper frustration? Do you think he's resenting the fact that Ice has gotten closer to Joe and seems to have more like a more secure position on the podcast? Why is Ish starting to distance himself from the personal lives of the other co-hosts? You know, no invitations, no appearances to ICE events, and not even bringing his lady around a crew. Is he low-key jealous of the dynamics and the deals of other co-hosts? I don't know. And what's up with him always calling Joe the rich friend? You know, Mandy just said recently on one of her lives, you know, if you got a friend and they calling you the rich friend, then they not your friend. Now, is there some unspoken tension there too? Yo, listen, drop your thoughts in the comments, man. Let me know. Is Ish still genuinely invested in the pod? Or is he just showing up to collect the check? Let's talk about it. And we'll be back with the files.
My guy Dub too. That's my man though.
Gang gang.
That's my man, Big Dub.